let's get started on our anniversary stream, our anniversary creature. So for anyone who wasn't here last time, or anyone who was and has forgotten,
you're ever so kind
thank you,
to spare
Mythical.
me those coins, friend. Thank you.
Anyone who was here last time and has forgotten, a week ago on Wednesday, that was my first ever stream, my first stream on Twitch. Not a week ago. I'm doing very well for my first week of streaming. A week ago was the anniversary of my first ever stream on Twitch. and so to celebrate that, we decided to do a special It's Alive. It's Alive is usually the stream where I create a stat block. I'm often working with people from the community to do that. So we started with this anniversary creature. Let me head over to the screen share to show you what we started with last time. We decided every little thing about it. We decided first what environment it lives in, and we decided, as you can see here, maybe make it one thing larger. Boop, there you go. We decided that it was sometimes found in the forest, mountains and underdark, but most often it would be found in urban environments. We decided that it was going to be a tiny creature verging on trivial.
You're ever so kind to spare me those coins, friend.
Thank you very much for the
Cheer 7, let's
3,
make
2,
it
1.
a prime train.
So environment, size trivial, tiny verging on trivial, so the small side of tiny. We decided it was going to be an elemental, a mixture of air, fire and some water. So basically a little storm elemental. Good with lightning and thunder and static electricity and all of that. We had that it was going to be a sentient creature, it was going to be chaotic good, and this was its appearance. It would have a head, 4 arms, 2 legs, 2 wings, a tail, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 4 horns, a snout with omnivorous teeth, whiskers, a mixture of fur, feathers, skin, scales, 4 toes and talons, and 5 fingers and claws on each of its hands. I can just pretend we can't hear it yet. Spines down its back, and it can sense magnetism and air pressure, and it reproduces asexually because it's an elemental. And then we started its actual stat block. We haven't decided what it's called yet, that's for today. We decided it's a tiny elemental, chaotic good, armor class 12, hit points 66, climb speed of 30, fly speed of 50, and these are its stats. It had a supremely high and almost godlike charisma stat. It's super cute, I guess, and it can manipulate people really well. Has saving throws, dexterity, intelligence, and wisdom. It's proficient in persuasion, sleight of hand, and stealth. Resistant to psychic damage, immune to fire, lightning, and thunder damage, which makes sense because it's an elemental made of those things. Vulnerable to bludgeoning damage, which surprised me at first, but kind of I like that it makes sense a little from it being like almost like it's made of smoke and storm, and as you waft through a cloud of smoke, it kind of gets dispersed. So I kind of like that. It's not actually made of smoke and storm, but it's intrinsically linked to the plane of smoke. We decided that it was immune to being charmed or petrified. It has dark vision 60 feet, blind sight of 10 feet, and we decided that the blind sight was not like echolocation or anything. It was more that it can sense the electricity running through people's bodies, like the nervous system and things. Languages, it can speak primordial, which is the language of the elemental planes, and it understands common, but it can't speak it. And then it can speak telepathy. And that's where we left off. We need to talk about its features and its actions. And once we've done its features and actions, get out of here. Then we need to name it. And once we've named it, then we're done. All right. So before we begin, let me open up my Discord real quick. And let me show off some of the artwork. Here is one of them. This is from Adro, with its 4 arms, its lightning arcing through its 4 horns, wings, living in an urban environment. Its tail wrapped around the thing. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. What else have we got? We've got Cinder Fingers. Cinder Fingers did this one here. Let me open it up. Boop. Cinderfingers, I love it. I love this sort of reptilian scale, like it's almost like a an armadillo. So this thing is Cinderfingers' version. I love the different horns that it's got, like antlers on the top and then like two little nubbin horns. I also love the scales, the sort of wings that are kind of almost feathery scales. It really is a mixture of all the different types. And then this tail that's very armadillo. Really creepy eyes too. Ooh, nice. And the artwork. The graffiti. Good job. Then before Cinderfingers', whose else have we got here? We've got Sparrow Flyaways. I really enjoy this one as well. Kind of looks like a little crap. What's the name of that animal that you based it on? Like a little kangaroo mouse thing. A little crazy little dude. I love the electricity sparking from the tail, the feathery wings, and the tiny little mouse arms. Super cute. And again, the horns that there's got two little nubbin horns and then two more actual like attacking or protecting horns. I think that works really well. There's some amazing artwork happening for this for what this creature might look like to each of you. And I like that we got very specific about its anatomy. We were like, it's got one head, two eyes, one mouth, 4 arms. How many fingers has it got on each arm? We were like into the minutiae, and yet there's still just an infinite diversity that's available to you for how you picture this animal. I love that a lot. There was another one. Let me scroll back up in the art gallery, see if I can find it. Who else has given one? Not the raccoon. Oh, here we go. There's Demon Kitties. Demon Kitties. This is a work in progress apparently, but it still looks pretty good to me. I love that it's bipedal, this one, with more like hands, like almost bear claws. I love that. And it's 4 horns, dragon-like wings. I like that. And just like this, just the general storm around its head. That's cool. Am I missing any? I think there might be one more that I'm forgetting. There was, I think didn't Cat do one as well? Oh, Chloe did this one. I really like this one. This one's look, it's very much like a Rattata from Pokemon. This one looks a lot like a Pokemon. You guys can see this, yeah? Yeah, you can. I love it. I love this one's curly horns and like the phoenix wings. Really gives that fire elemental appearance to it, having these sorts of phoenix wings just surrounded by the electricity. It's cool. I like it. What else? I'm sure Kat did one, didn't she? Chloe also had to get this one out of her system before starting the real one, because it's all she could think of apparently when we were designing the creature. A little elemental Lilo, Stitch. Sorry. Here's Cats. I knew Kat had done one. A little fawn, looks like a little baby deer or something. And this one's got the take of its horns being more like spines, and then I guess turning into spines. Another like dragon one. This looks like it's in utero. And the tiny little sharp fangs, cool. Very cool. Lots of very, very cool creations. Let me get open. Where are we? There it is. So keep them coming, guys. I love seeing your particular takes on the artwork. I wonder what Ben's take on it could be. Yeah, I could ask him. From Cat. Is this the one that I found? Yeah, that one's the one that I found in the end. Alright, let me close these images down. So let's talk about the features that it might have. So let's how to do this. So let's go into here and let's search by elementals that already exist, and let's just have a little look at some of them and what sort of features they have. So air elementals, they have features called air form. The elemental can enter a hostile creature's space and stop there. It can move through a space as narrow as 1 inch wide without squeezing because it's made of air. Now this creature we've decided was made of flesh and blood, and it isn't actually made of smoke, so it doesn't make sense for it to have a similar sort of feature as this. And that's the only feature that air elementals get. They get multi-attacks, but we'll talk about attacks later. Now, it might be the case that this little creature can turn itself into a smoke form, like maybe it's a shape changer of sorts, and it can turn into a smoke elemental. And that reminds me of Ifriti, which are fire elemental genies. They have elemental demise. If they die, they disintegrate in a flash of fire and puff of smoke, leaving behind only the equipment that they were wearing. What do we think about that one first? Do we think that this creature, when it is killed, should stay there as a tangible body that the party can then loot for parts if needed? Like they can take it apart, and maybe its horns are useful in some sort of potions. Maybe its tail or its claws are useful in some sort of weapon making or material components for a spell. Or if you kill one of these things, does it explode in like a burst of lightning and thunder or something? What do you guys think? Would it burn up? Cute little armor on that thing. What do you guys think? Should it explode, leaving behind nothing but lightning and storm? Yes or no? Give me an idea of what you guys are thinking about it. Yes, it should explode and leave behind nothing but lightning and thunder. Or no, it should leave behind a body. This is one of the things you can use your yes and no emotes for if you're a subscriber to my channel. It is not just the Ifrit that gives precedent to these things. There are things called mephits, because this is a smoke-like elemental. Let me go to the smoke mephit specifically. Smoke mephit. Most people are saying yes, it should explode in some sort of there we go. Smoke mephit. They have death burst. When the mephit dies, it leaves behind a cloud of smoke that fills a 5-foot radius sphere centered on its space. The sphere is heavily obscured. Wind disperses the cloud, which otherwise lasts for 1 minute. So it explodes in smoke of some kind. Likewise for some of the other ones, like the steam mephit. The steam mephit explodes in a cloud of steam. Each creature within 5 feet of the mephit must succeed on a dex save or take fire damage. So yeah, there's definitely precedent for it, and most people are saying yes. So I'm gonna say, and it wasn't close enough to require a poll. So we're gonna have some sort of death burst. Let's go. Death burst. And then let me grab it from one of these geezers, just to not have to type the whole thing out. Now, what should it do? Lightning, thunder, smoke, or some mixture of all of them? What do you guys think? Start putting it in the chat, and then I'll make a poll based on the most common responses. When the TBC dies, it leaves behind a cloud, or it leaves behind a cloud of something. Too cute to take trophies from it. Not if you're playing an evil campaign or something. Maybe it's always a bit wobbly and can randomly explode. Every time it starts its turn, it has to roll a d20, and if it gets a nat 1, it just explodes. Like a lemming explosion. Oh no! Will it leave behind anything other than smoke? It leaves scorched horns behind, and they have uses. That could be cool, leaving behind only its 4 scorched horns. Lightning and thunder, lightning and thunder. What's up, Spidey? How's it going? Lightning and thunder, thunderstorm, a condensed area of effect thunderstorm with lightning and dark clouds. I kind of like that, yeah. Oh, the horns change into projectiles. It explodes, shooting 4 creatures in its area.
24.
Dryceratops, thank you for the follow. The thunderstorm sounds great. Kind of like the thunderstep. Then let's have a look. Should we look at thunderstep and model it on that? Bam, 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 bam. Let's go Thunderstep, Thunder. Thundercats are on the loose. Thunderstep. Teleport yourself to an unoccupied space you can see within range. Obviously we wouldn't be doing that part because it's dying. Immediately after you disappear, a thunderous boom sounds and each creature within 10 feet of the space you left must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 3d10 thunder damage on a failed save or half as much on a success. The thunder can be heard from up to 300 feet away. Something like that, I think. When the dies, it leaves behind a thundercloud, a storm cloud that fills a 5-foot radius sphere centered on its space. The sphere is heavily obscured. Wind disperses the cloud, which otherwise lasts for 1 minute. While the cloud is maybe while the cloud is present on the TBC initiative, roll a d4. On a 1, the nearest creature is targeted by a bolt of lightning. They must make a DC something, DC number, Dex save, or take like 2d8 lightning damage, since it's happening every round without concentration required. I'm thinking we can change this, obviously. I'm just sort of going as I go. On a 2, thunderous boom sounds and each creature within 10 feet of the space of the cloud must make a Constitution saving throw, taking, I think 3d10 might be a bit much for it, given that it doesn't yeah, it doesn't require a save, so 2d10 because it's an area of effect, 2d8 because it's an area of effect, 2d10 if it's a single target damage, something like that. Thunder can be heard up to 300 feet away. On a 3, what's another cloud? What's another cloudy kind of a thundercloud kind of a thing? We've got lightning, thunder. What else could happen? On a 4, nothing happens or something. Like, so there's a chance every round that nothing else happens. Wind. Oh yeah, wind. They get blown back. They take no damage, but they get blown back. On a 3. A wind blows. I'm going to copy this, take the text into here. A gale wind blows. Each creature within 10 feet of the cloud must make a strength saving throw. Strength saving throw, or be pushed 15 feet away. And then on a 4, is there anything happening on a 4, or is it a nothing? Is it like a freebie? Sonic damage is thunder. Yeah, thunder sound is thunder damage is sound damage. It's shockwave damage. So an explosion from a grenade, not like a shrapnel grenade, but just like a regular grenade, would technically be thunder damage, because it's the shockwave that actually kills you and blows you apart. Blinded. I was thinking blinded, like a smoke swirls out of the cloud, blinding everyone in the area for something or other. I wish we could vote on the size again. I think it should be bigger than a rat. Even in the drawing, it was more of a cat-dog size compared to the streetlight. Could be a small streetlight. Thunder Constitution save makes more sense, right? That's what it's got. Thunderous Boom is con save. Lightning damage is dex save because you're dodging out of the way of a lightning bolt. Gale Force is strength save because you're pushing against the wind blowing you back. Smoke makes sense. It's a smoke creature with sides of electricity. So let's go something on a 4. A swirling smoke extends temporarily from the cloud, obscuring, blinding anyone in the area, anyone within 15 feet of the cloud. Within 15 feet of the cloud for 1 round until the how to say this? I would normally say until the start of the TBC's next turn, but it's not actually getting turns, it's the cloud. I'll fix it later. I'll fix the it's more important. I don't have all the time in the world today, obviously, because I've got to prepare for an interview after this. I don't know if I've mentioned that I'm interviewing Satine Phoenix later on in my channel today. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet, but yeah, I'm doing that later, so I've got to prepare for that. So I don't have all the time in the world. So I'll put down the gist of it, and then I'll go back and finish the wording of it later. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I should have mentioned. I don't think I've mentioned yet, but pretty thunderous bee crawler tries to think of thunderous butt crawler. I've never mentioned it. I should have mentioned it. Sorry guys, I'll let you down there. All right, so it's got a death burst. Boom! When it dies, there's a thunder cloud, storm cloud in its space, which shoots out bolts of lightning to the nearest creature. It thunderous booms. It blows a gale from it, and it swirls smoke into your eyes. It's pretty sweet. What did you forget to mention? Oh, I forgot to mention, Spidey, that I'm interviewing Satine Phoenix later on my channel. I don't think I've mentioned that yet. It's no big deal. I mean, she's just like the queen of D&D. Cool. I'll try and stop by. What, to my house? All right. Let's see. What other sorts of features might this little thing have? Does it have regeneration, for instance? Does it regenerate any? Does it regenerate any hit points every round? Does its claw attacks count as magical for the purposes of overcoming resistances? Sometimes when you're fighting a monster, it is resistant to bludgeoning, like this bludgeoning, piercing damage from non-magical attacks, and that's when you usually have to specify that this creature's claws are magical. It doesn't mean anything for their whether they're more or less likely to hit with them or do damage. It just means that if they attack with something that is resistant or immune to those mundane weapons, it can still do damage. So what do you guys think? Yes or no? Should it have magical weapons? Should it have magical claws and horns? It's got 28 charisma. The only damage it will ever take is hugs. Will she get the slow paw treatment? Maybe. Alright, yeah, people are saying yes for the most part. So let's give it magical claws. Let me just straight up pull it from this one. C. Control C. Control V. Magic weapons. Bump, bump, bump. Are we unanimous? I think we're unanimous that it should have magic. Its claw attacks should be considered magic. The TBC's weapon attack are magical. Alright, what else have we got? Let's have a look down the list of elementals and see what sorts of flyby. Flyby could be, I mean it does have a fly speed. Flyby, the creature doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity when it flies out of an enemy's reach. What do we think to flyby? Should it have flyby or not? Can it like an owl swoop past you, scratch you across the face, and then leave your space before you getting an attack? Is it quick enough at flying that it doesn't provoke opportunity attacks when it leaves your space? Yes or no? We've got a couple of yeses. Few yeses, few yeses. Few yeses. Spidey just being contrarian, maybe. Fancy also thinking no. Spidey definitely just being contrarian. Angel Zero thinking no. Ooh, there's a few more no's coming in. The yeses still have it, but if there's a couple more no's. What do you guys think? Flyby? It provokes attacks of opportunity or not? Spidey just wants to starch it. Sometimes you got to have that first no in there to make other people realize that they're allowed to say no, because otherwise you get like a going with the flow kind of thing where people don't actually say what they want because they don't see anybody else saying it. Sheeple. All right, we'll go with yes because most people have said yes. The people who have bothered to emote. Control copy and control paste. Flyby. The TBC Arclight Phoenix. What's an Arclight Phoenix? The TBC doesn't provoke an opportunity attack when it flies out of an enemy's reach. What else has it got? Grounded Lightning. The first time on a turn that the Phoenix touches the ground, it takes force damage. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. I don't think we're going to give it that one. Illumination. It sheds bright light in a 15-foot radius and dim light for an additional 15 feet. That one doesn't really make sense. I mean, it does have a crackly kind of thing. Do you have a rule of thumb for how many powers and special features you can add? No, I don't have a rule of thumb for it. I just have a sort of intuitive feeling for it, Spidey. The more you add, the more chance that it's going to be a more powerful, more higher challenge rating monster. So when it starts to get too many, I'll generally say. Lightning form. The Arclight Phoenix can move through a space as narrow as 1 inch wide without squeezing because it's made of lightning. Blah blah blah. If a creature touches the Phoenix or hits it with a melee attack within 5 feet, it takes lightning damage. We could give it that one. Does it have a more power, less fun? Yeah, exactly, Swanetti. You got to balance it. You never know how OP it is till you test it. Yeah, there's a lot of testing involved. Kelso, I've only just noticed somehow. I don't know why. Like just because there's so many names that just have a random number attached to the end. But I've only just noticed that yours is pi. So has it got enough storm-like static electricity over its body and like crackling through its horns and shit that anyone who hits it with a magical attack takes like lightning damage? Yes or no? a creature that touches it or hits it with a melee weapon attack takes lightning damage. Yes or no? It is not at all without precedent. There are lots of elementals that do this. Ones that come to mind are salamanders, for instance. Fire elementals, for instance. Let's have a look at the salamander. The salamander says, heated body, a creature that touches the salamander or hits it with a melee weapon attack while within 5 feet takes fire damage. Same with poisonous creatures. I don't know if the poison weird has it. No, it doesn't look like the poison weird has it, but often poison creatures do. Poisonous trolls have this effect. A whole bunch of things. The yeses have it. It's not unanimous though. There's quite a few no's happening, but the yeses seem to have this thing being rather powerful. You gain 1 XP for replying to my comment. What are you talking about? Uh, 3.1415926. Yeah, you actually have got it wrong, Kelso. You've got the 6 and 2 backwards. Physical touch or melee weapon attack within 5 feet. Most people saying yes. So if you don't want it to have that feature, you need to get your nose in. You need to convince others. There's a couple more no's coming in. It's more even. I'm gonna actually put that one to a poll because it wasn't exactly obvious, and I know some people answer polls that don't use emotes. Lightning body. Yes or no? Maybe I should be more clear with that. Lightning damage from touching / hitting it. Yes or no? It's also not without precedent even for like player characters and things, because there is a spell called Hellish Rebuke. Although it is obviously a spell slot, you still have to spend your spell. But it is a spell where when you get hit, you can, as a reaction, cause a bunch of damage back to the creature that hit you. Steam methods, do they have the... No, they have Death Burst, but they don't have a heated body. Magmins, do they? I think they might. Ignited Illumination, extinguish itself. No, that's not it. There's a live poll, 3 minutes to decide should this thing have some sort of lightning effect when you hit it with a melee weapon attack? Should the person hitting it take lightning damage? I'm sure there are others. There's definitely this salamander. Fire elementals, definitely. Fire form. Any creature that touches it or hits it with a melee weapon attack takes fire damage. Efreets, do they have it? No, they've got innate spellcasting. Azers, heated bodies. So Azers also have it. Anything that hits it or hits it with a melee weapon attack, blah de blah. And then of course we've got the elementals. Ooh, do you want to see Orioles? Orioles things. Frigid Aura. Each creature within 10 feet of her takes cold damage, so that's a similar sort of effect. Every vote counts. We've got about a minute left, everybody. And then of course the Arclight Phoenix that has a similar thing, the lightning form. The vote is currently coming in at 57% to 43%. It is going to be a very close vote, so if you want this thing to have this lightning aura about it, then make sure to get your vote in. If you don't want it to have your aura, then make sure to get your vote in. It's currently only 17 to 13. 17 to 14. It's even closer now. 55 to 45. Make sure to get your votes in, everybody. You've only got 30 seconds left to vote. It could come down to like a single vote in it at this rate. Meanwhile, let's have a look. What else have we got? When it dies, it explodes, blah, blah, blah. We've already decided on that sort of death burst thing. Let me copy this in case we need it. Alright, last few seconds. It's 21 to 15. Alright, with 58% of the vote, we decided yes, it will have a similar sort of lightning effect. So let me give it that. That usually comes before the death burst kind of thing. Let's put it up here. Lightning form. Let's not call it lightning form because it isn't lightning form. Lightning charged. Lightning charged. I hate democracy, says Spidey. The TBC. I hope you all are thinking of some cool names for this thing. The TBC can't move through a space, bloody bloody blah. Actually, it shouldn't start with the TBC. It should start with a creature that touches the TBC. A creature that touches the Rumbly Belly or hits it with a melee weapon attack within 5 feet of it takes lightning damage. We can decide on the amount later. That's more of a balance issue. Nope, not this second part of it though. Come on. Alright. We've got a lightning aura of some sort. What else we got? Sup, Penny? How's it going? Oriel, we've got Divine Being, can't be surprised, no. Divine Rejuvenation, no. Legendary Resistances, I don't think of this thing as a legendary creature. Magic Resistance, does it have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects? What else would have that? I think fairies have that, sprites have that. I'm not sure about the elementals. No, the elementals don't. Oops, I didn't mean to back up that one. What do you guys think? Advantage against, say, magic effects and things? Seems a little bit, we're getting on the overpowered side now. Too many effects. Maybe we can give it like a weakened version of it, where it's like it has advantage on any. Oh no, because it's already immune to being charmed. Advantage on spells that would change its form or something. Jesus. Vulnerable to bludgeoning, but in order for bludgeoning to hit, the attacker would be making contact and thus take damage too. Yeah, true. Unless you're hitting it with bludgeoning damage from afar, like a slingshot does bludgeoning damage. Or you throw a hammer at it. You have to be within 5 feet. Is your mic right at stomach level? Unfortunately it is, Sumgen, yeah. I need to get myself one of these up here mics, because then I can rumble away to my stomach's content. You just have to deal with it. I haven't got time to go and eat. I've got to finish this monster. All right, I'm going to make the executive decision that it doesn't have advantage on the saving throws of magical effects and things, just because it's already got a few features that'd make it a little bit overpowered. Azes. Oh wait, we hadn't finished on this one. So it's got blah blah blah, frigid aura, legendary resistances, magic resistance, elemental nature. Doesn't require food, air, drink, or sleep. No, it's kind of got like a more flesh and blood body, so it kind of would make sense that it still needs air, food, drink, and sleep. Does it have any sort of innate spell casting, which is another big thing for these creatures to have? Azers, let's have a look. What have you got? Heated body, heated weapon, illumination. Nope, none of those things make sense for this creature. Earth glide, stone camouflage, treasure sense. None of those things make sense for it. A taser spell. It could have shocking grasp, yeah. Feed on fire, form of white wind and water. No, none of that makes sense. Twinger. Evasion. When it's subject to a thing that makes it a dex save, only takes half damage. Nah. Anus Twitchnifus. Charm person makes sense that it would have some access to charming spells, I think. Shocking grasp, some sort of lightning bolt spell maybe. Earth glide, elemental demise, innate spellcasting. Alright, innate spellcasting, let's grab that. Copy. It's going to have some form of innate spellcasting, isn't it? Because it's going to be able to cast lightning bolts and things. Innate spellcasting. The TBC's innate spellcasting ability is Charisma, makes sense. Spell save DC is going to be 8 plus its proficiency, which we decided was a 4. So 12 plus 9 is 21. So spell save is 21, which is why I said it's going to be almost legendary, this creature. It's going to be very high level glass cannon. It's only got 66 hit points, so real easy to take down when you can get it. But when you are fighting it, it's very very hard to be missed by it because it's got a 13 to hit. 13 comes from its plus 9 from charisma, plus 4 from its proficiency. So if it's hitting you with a lightning bolt and it's like a targeted effect, then it rolls and adds 13 to beat your armor class. But if it's like an area of effect or a dex save or something, then it's a DC 21 instead. It can innately cast the following spells requiring no material components. At will. So it's got at will spells. It should have... What's it got? It should have anything storm-like. I'm not going to go through all of the spells right now because going through the spells is a long process that can take up quite a lot of time. I can do that off screen. But it should definitely have Shocking Grasp. And then it's got 3 per day that it can cast each of this thing, and then it's got 1 per day that it can cast each of these things. So I don't know. We'll go through that another time, but one of them should be like Lightning Bolt. I don't know if that's a 3 per day or a 1 per day thing. I don't know if do we want it to have a gaseous form? Maybe it can turn itself into smoke.
Oh, a new
adventurer joins the team. Thank you very much, Oakley, for gifting a sub to the channel. 15 in the channel now, 3 times 5, gifting to Fragasi. Styrmyr, the Norse for one who causes storms. I like that. Styrmyr. Novus Tempest. Storm Scurrer. Animation meeting. No worries, Spidey. See you later. Epocnid. I like that. An Epocnid. An Epoch Elemental. Yeah, I kind of like that. An Epocnid. Like an arachnid or a echidna. Thyella, a storm in ancient Greek. A Thyella. I like that. Cool. Let's get rid of some of these things. We'll decide later what spells it's got, but it's going to have some sort of spells. Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt's a 3rd level spell, so maybe it can do it 3 times per day. Maybe it can do it just once. I don't know. Summon. What's it called? Call Lightning. Call Lightning, maybe. We'll think about that. All right. I think we might be done on features. Gaseous form 3 times per day, maybe. Gaseous form brackets smoke because it's from the plane of smoke. Lightning Bolt 20th level once per day. Yeah, maybe Crackle Puff. Crackle Puff I quite like as well, actually. Let me put down some of these names so we don't forget them. Crackle Puff I like. Epochniid. What else did we have? Thyla, but it's got like a, let's see if I can grab it, copy it, put it in here so I don't have to, there we go. Thyla. What else has been named? Novus Tempest. Novus Tempest sounds like more of its like scientific name. Storm Scurra. So Storm Scurra's there, but I saw Fancy say something about Scurra being like a bad word somewhere. Is a Scurra like a bad word? I've never heard the word before. Unus Annus. I don't know what that would be. Blixt. Blixt is kind of a cute name. I like that. Let me put some of the names down here. Cuteness overload. Oh, charm person it should have as well, right? That's going to be a 3 times per day thing. Something like that. Or dominate person, maybe, I don't know. Scunner is, and in my accent it sounds the same. Scurra, Scunner. Is that is that like a Scottish insult, Fancy? And is it like a derogatory term for a particular type of person, or is it just like a generic insult? Because if it's like an equivalent of like the N-word or something, then we should try and steer clear. But if it just sounds a little bit like a word that sounds like fuckface, then it doesn't really matter. All right, let's get back to this. What sort of features does it have? I think it has enough features now, but let's just have a little quick look through in case there's any more that catch my eye. Death Burst, innate spellcasting, Earth Glide, siege monsters, they don't make sense. Elder Tempest, ooh, an Elder Tempest. What's this thing? Legendary resistance, Living Storm, look at that. That's crazy. This is crazy. Look at this, Challenger in 23, you're fighting a storm. A living storm, that's awesome. I want to use that. What else have we got? Features. Heated body, flail snail has flail tentacles, anti-magic shells, none of that makes sense for this dude to have. Amplify lightning, ooh, okay. That's kind of cool. It's a flux charger. Whenever a spell that deals lightning damage includes one or more flux charges in its area, the spell deals an extra lightning damage. Oh, we could have a similar thing, that reminds me. We could have a similar thing from the, what's it called? The Shambling Mound, or the Golem. I know the Shambling Mound has it, but let's have a look at the, what's it called? The Clay Golem, I think it is. Clay Golems. Oh, this one has acid absorption, right? It's not the Clay Golems, it's the Flesh Golems. Immutable. Lightning absorption. Whenever the golem is subjected to lightning damage, it takes no damage, instead regains a number of hit points equal to the lightning damage dealt. Shall we give it that? So that if you try and hit this thing with light... Oh, mind you. No, never mind. Because it's already immune to lightning damage. Mind you, so is this guy. The Flesh Golem's immune to lightning damage. Can you heal it with lightning, is my question, I guess. Yes, you can heal it with trying to lightning it. No, you can't. I suppose it would make no sense that anybody would try and hit it with lightning, because it's like it would be described as being like this stormy, crackling creature. Why would anybody try and hit that with lightning? Although you'd be surprised. I had a thing recently where somebody tried to hit a clearly necrotic creature with necrotic damage. Styrmyr. Yes, so that stupid people can heal it. Okay, let's give it this healing as well. It's not going to be too overpowering to give it this, because, as I say, only the stupid will try it in the first place. The stupid or desperate. And so it's not going to come up all that often, so it doesn't really overbalance the critter. Whenever the TBC is subjected to lightning damage, It also means that that if you're fighting two of these things, or something else that's fighting alongside it as an ally, it can cast lightning bolt through this creature into your space, healing it and hurting you in the same attack. It can choose to target other creatures. Would it be able to heal itself with Shocking Grasp? I don't know if you can target yourself with Shocking Grasp. Alright, are we almost at the end of features? I think we might be. Let's go elementals again. Let's have a little look down the list. Doesn't lightning heal them like Pikachu? Does Pikachu get healed by lightning? Is Rob using a digital copy of D&D books? Yes, so I have all the physical copies of the D&D books, but I also use D&D Beyond, which has all of the books on it as well. Four-armed gargoyle, false appearance, nope. Frost salamander, nope. Gale of Dur, rolling charge. Those are pretty cool monsters. I don't get to use them much. Death burst, we've already got a death burst. False appearance, no. Behold, boulder, what's that? Boulder, guys. When fully withdrawn into its shell, it can't see and is indistinguishable from a small boulder. Wanted for not doing a Swedish accent. Baalim, Latin for Baal, the storm god. Baalim. There we go. We'll grab that, add it to the list. Almost like Balin. Morning. Nice day for being a storm cloud. Giant, four-armed, whatever. False appearance. Ice methods. Nope, nope, nope. Imix. Magic resistance. We've talked about empowered attacks. Nope, 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 nope. Invisible stalkers. Invisible. Kagra. Bite. Earth plining. Iron scent. Can locate ferrous metals within 30 feet. Partial freeze. Siege monster. None of these make sense. Empowered attack, fire aura, illumination, magma methods, has death bursts, false appearance, innate spells. Magmins, set things on fire when they touch them. Amphibious, elemental demise, mud methods, death bursts. I think we might be at the end of our features. Siege monsters, all hydra. Instead of watery, an oily hydra, an all hydra, a phoenix, like a phoenix from the flames, fiery death and rebirth, flyby, siege monster. Alright, I'm going to call it, and I'm near the end of the list, but I'm bored of just seeing the same things over and over again. What's this? Tarhuna, the Hittite storm god. Continent map creator, says Gnobby. I'd recommend Incarnate. Yeah, I use Incarnate myself, and it's not that expensive to get the pro version, and once you've got the pro version it's really useful. Nimbuset. What's Nimbuset? Is that your an idea for a name? Nimbuset? Where does that one come from, Fancy? One nice day for shocking, ain't it? Storm is moving in outside. I hear thunder getting louder and louder. Rob, stop making this thing. Never! I have the power! Sup, Marie, how's it going? This is a list of... Oh, it's hidden behind my head, but you can kind of see a list of possible names for this thing. We're going to decide on its names later. Rob asked before, does Pikachu heal from lightning? Answer is no. It can only have abilities static. Lightning. Cool. There you go. As an Accumulus Nimbus Cloud with et for cuteness. Nimbus, et. Nice. Alright, we're done with its features. It has quite a lot of them. Lightning charged. If you hit it with whether you're within 5 feet or touch it, you take lightning damage. It's got a death burst when it leaves behind a cloud, which does things on its turn, continues for a minute. Magic weapons. When it attacks, it's got magical claws for the purposes of overcoming resistances. Flyby, so it can scratch you in the face. It absorbs lightning and heals from it, and it can cast a bunch of spells, which we'll flesh out another time. Now we are moving on to the actions phase. Actions. How many of these do I need to give it? Is it? I forget how many it is. Let me look at another one for examples. 3 of them. Cool. Actions. Let me actually grab some of these things for multi-attack. It's going to have a multi-attack, isn't it? It's going to have a multi-attack, let's be honest. Alright, what sort of actions can it do? Other than casting spells, obviously. What sort of actions can it do? It's going to have some sort of a multi-attack. The TBC can use some sort of whatever it's using. Can use its something and then make some many attacks. It's going to have a. Is it going to have a bite attack, a claw attack? Bite, claw, horns. Has it got some sort of presence, some aura? Presence or an aura or a charming thing. Maybe its charm person isn't actually the spell charm person, but it's more like a charming aura that exudes from it or something. It was a very loud bird. Could you hear it? Nim, from Swedish, something not complicated, and busset is a Swedish word for naughty pranks. So nimbuset is simple naughty pranks in Swedish. That sounds pretty appropriate for this guy. It does have a lot of claws, yeah. Thunder shout, like a cat, a trip attack, puppy dog eyes. Charming aura would be perfect. Yeah, it can use, so like I'm thinking, so let me show you the precedent that I'm considering. Dragons, for instance. Dragons have a frightful presence. Let me look at the ancients. They have frightful presence as one of their actions. Each creature of the dragon's choice that's within so many feet of it and aware of it must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or become frightened for 1 minute. We would change frightened for charmed, obviously. Creature can repeat the saving throw, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. And then part of the multi-attack is the dragon can use that frightful presence and then make 3 attacks. So I'm thinking something along the same lines. So like a charming aura. Any creatures of its choice within 100 feet or 10 feet or 60 feet or whatever have to make a wisdom saving throw or be charmed for the duration. It can repeat the save, yada yada yada. Something like that. And then it makes several attacks. What do you guys think? Am I on the right lines there, or? Claw and horn attacks only. It prefers not to use its mouth for attacking as it needs to charm or explode you with lightning. You guys agree? Yes. Let's take Frightful Presence and copy it over and make a Charming Presence. I think there's already a creature or two that have Charming Presence, but I can't remember what they are right now off the top of my head. Some sort of fae. I know I gave it to the Merry Gentleman. Charming Presence. Charming Presence, just straight up changing it from dragon. Each creature of the TBC's choice, how many feet should it be active to? Unearthly Beauty, still a thing. I don't know about Unearthly Beauty. What is that? Newbie Goddess. Is that from an older edition? I think it might be a thing with Banshees. Banshees might have Unearthly Beauty, maybe? 60 feet, 30 feet, 15 feet. 15 feet feels a little bit low. 120 feet feels quite a lot. So somewhere between 15 and 120. If it was 60 feet, you're going to get most people on the battlefield, but if you are specifically trying to stay away from this thing, then you're going to be out of its range. 30 feet, you're going to get maybe half of the people on the battlefield, because there's always going to be more people away, more than 30 feet away. In any battle in D&D, there's generally people closer than 30 and further than 30, but more often than not, everyone is within 60. Occasionally, you will have a fight where people are more than 60, but they'll always be within 100, something like that. That's usually how a fight goes. It is a tiny creature, so 60 maybe is a little bit too much. 50 feet would be, I guess we could use 50 Jack, but like it's not really precedent within D&D. It usually goes in like multiples of 15, I guess. And even that, it's like 30 multiples of 30 more than anything. Each creature within 40 feet. Each creature within... I think because of its size, I'm thinking 30 feet. So it can get close enough to charm you, and because it's got flyby and a fly speed of 50, it can fly to within 30 feet of you. It can even fly right next to you, try and charm you, and then get the hell out of there. It doesn't mean it has to stay within 30 in order to charm you. It just has to be within 30 when it charms you. Each creature of the TBC's choice that is within 30 feet of it and aware of it must succeed on a DC 21 Wisdom saving throw or become charmed for a minute. Charmed for 1 minute. Creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. If a creature's saving throw is successful or the effect ends for it, the creature is immune to the TBC's charming presence for the next 24 hours. Multi-attack. The TBC can use its charming presence and then makes so many attacks. We'll find out. All right, so let's start. It's tiny. Yeah, it's a size tiny. It's about the size of a rat. It's like a little storm rat. Let's talk about bite specifically. Should it have a bite attack? Yes or no? Should it have a bite attack? It's got omnivorous teeth. It's got a snout. It is about the size of a rat. What do you think? Bite attack, yes or no? One yes, one no. 2 no's. 2 of each. 1, 3 no's. 4 yeses. 4 no's. We're even. 5 yeses. 5 no's. We're even all the way down. 6 yeses. 6 no's. 7 no's. 8 no's. 9 no's. Ooh, the no's are starting to take it away a little bit. We're going to have to put this one to a poll, aren't we? 11 no's. 12 no's. Poll. Let's put it to an actual poll. Bite attack. It's not just as simple as saying any animal will bite. It's about whether we're actually gaining anything from having a bite attack. Because if you're doing a bite attack that does like a D4 piercing damage, and then you've got a claw attack that does like a D6 piercing damage, then there's literally no point you ever including bite in your stat block, because the creature would never use a bite attack, and like if it's got a claw attack that can do more damage. It's that sort of thing that you need to take into account. So does giving it a bite attack matter? Does it add anything to it? Does it add anything to the stat block, the creature's stat block, by giving it a bite attack? If we're also going, we haven't decided yet, but if it's also going to have a claw attack or horns attack or a tail attack, something like that, then having a bite attack is not necessarily necessary. So bite attack, claw attack, horn attack. We've already given an aura, but tail attack. The reasons for giving it, it might be, the only things I can think of is that it's maybe its horn attack or its tail attack is doing bludgeoning damage, its claw attack is doing scratching, slashing damage, and its bite attack is doing piercing damage. Because if they're doing different types of damage, then maybe now it makes sense. And the other reason for giving it a bite and a claw attack is if you're something like a bear, like a brown bear has multi-attack, where you can do one bite attack and one claw attack. Because then you've got two different attacks. And yes, the bite might be doing less than the claw or vice versa, but you can't do two of the same attack in that situation. You have to do the strong one and the weak one. It's only if the attack is basically the exact same as another attack in its stat block, but a weaker version of it, that there's no point even giving it in the first place. Not so charming with blood on your teeth. That's true. A distracting smoke thing. That could be an interesting one, Mythical. Got some sort of action where it can use a distracting smoke somehow. Not sure how we would fit that in though. I think looking at the description you'd expect a bite from it, so not having it would give an element of surprise, so it could use a different attack. Yeah. Yeah, another reason to have a bite stat block is if it has some sort of venom, because then it can inject poison with its bite as well. I don't think this guy has venom though. Nothing about what we've done with it so far has led me to believe that it would be venomous. Could you bite and hang on? Yeah, if it has a bite which has a secondary effect like a grapple attack built into the bite, then that's another reason to have a bite stat block. I got you. Is it some form of paralysis that a bite would inflict? I don't think from this guy a paralyzing venom would make any sense. I think it would have a secondary effect to its bite, like it would definitely have lightning damage. I would look at the dragon's stat block and see if it has lightning in its teeth. Alright, with 67% of the vote, we're going to say no, it doesn't have a bite attack. Alright, so now claw attack. Has it got a claw attack? It has it has 4 hands, each of which has 5 fingers on it, or 5 claws. So let's see. Claw. Clay attack. Claw attack. Yes or no? Does it have little mousy fingers, or does it have big rat claws? Because if it doesn't have claws at all, if it just has little mousy fingers, then obviously it's not going to do enough claw attack. Then it relies entirely on its horns and or its lightning effect. It does have spines or spikes on its body, but they may just be like for decoration almost, like a Tuatara's spikes. Spikes could give you electric shock when it hits you with it. Yeah, if it's got a horn attack, maybe it can charge you and spear you with some horns. You only take a couple of piercing damage, but you also take a much more lightning damage or something. Cat-like claws, maybe. Yeah, pictured it attacking like a cat, all 5 weapons at once. Scratchy cat claws. Should have claws because it doesn't have a bite. Yeah, that makes sense. Sharp claws like a cat's. It's cute, and then it's really not cute. You're like, oh, look at the little cutie, and then it goes. Lightning starts sparking, and its fur stands up on edge, and then you're like, oh god, I'm gonna die. And the spike's going up its back. That's for the artists to decide individually, Jack. We said that it's got spikes and spines, but we didn't specify the minutiae of like how far down they go. It's really up to the artists to decide. Maybe it likes you if you feed it. Yeah, maybe. Holds onto you with its 4 arms and then uses its legs to kick you like a kangaroo. A fizzgig. Is that your suggestion for a name, Elbrown? A fizzgig? Could it shoot frills like a porcupine? Maybe. Like a fake porcupine, you mean? Porcupines don't actually fire quills. Does it have a static effect? If you're up close, you have to do a con save to not get shocked. Yeah, it does. You can see over here we've got where is it? Lightning charged. A creature that touches the creature or hits it with a melee attack within 5 feet of it takes lightning damage. You don't get it just from standing next to it, but if you touch it, you do. Like a static electricity. It's so cute. I'm down half my hit points, but isn't it adorable? This will be the cutest death ever. Uses one set of arms to hold on to you, the other set to beat you up, like Goro from MK. If they are going up the back, then it should do a sort of sonic attack where it kills up in a ball and rolls at you, maybe. Last seconds to decide on the claw attack poll, everybody. Is it solitary or a flock creature? Haven't decided that actually, Swinetti. Alright, claw attack, 72% say yes, it's going to have a claw attack. So let's give it a claw attack. Claw. Melee weapon attack. Let me scroll up and get like an example of it so I don't have to copy the whole thing out. Copy. Melee weapon attack, it would be using its dexterity, which is a +2, plus its proficiency of 4, so it's got a +6 to hit. It's got a reach of 5 feet, meaning it has to target something adjacent to it. It can only target one target at a time with it, and when it's hitting, it's going to be doing its dexterity plus some amount of damage. And its claws are probably going to be slashing damage, I imagine, rather than piercing. Look how massive this stat block is already. What damage to do with claws? Let's look for precedent. So a claw attack from an ancient black dragon. Its claw attack is doing 2d6 plus 8 slashing damage. So even an ancient black dragon is only doing 2d6 plus 8. And then we've got, let's have a look at some beasts. A lot of them have claw attacks, obviously. And Allosaurus has a claw attack which does 1d8 plus 4. So even an attack from an Allosaurus is only doing 1d8. We've got some kind of baboon. Have they got claw attacks? They've got bite attacks. Boars won't have claw attacks. Brown bears definitely do. They have a 2d6 plus 4 slashing damage attack, so brown bear. Cat's claws have only 1 slashing damage. So it's tiny creature. Its claw attack is going to either be a 1, like a cat's stat block, or it's going to be like a 1d4 or something.
24.
Rustar, thank you for the follow. I'm thinking, because it's a somewhat legendary little creature, let's give it a dice roll instead of just making it a flat 1. It's going to be 1d4 plus 2 from its dexterity ability. So 1d4 plus 2 slashing damage. Does it have any lightning imbued within it? Maybe. Let's talk about other attacks first. Does it have a horn attack? Poll. I'm going to make this a 2-minute poll because the last one felt a little bit too long. Horn attack? Question mark. Yes or no. You've got 2 minutes to decide, so get yourself to the screen if you're away from the keyboard. You've got 2 minutes to decide. Does it have a horn attack? Remember, this thing has 4 horns. Some people have envisioned that as 4 similar sized horns, kind of like a spread in a crest form. Some people have discerned it as like 2 large horns, 2 small horns. In whatever way, does it have a horn attack of any kind, and does it do piercing damage with them from slamming into them? Let's start looking for creatures with horns that would have a similar. Boars have tusks, so we could take that. Tusk damage would be 1d6 plus its strength. What sort of creatures have horns? cave badger, cave bear. I'm starting with a migraine. I'm just going to turn this light down. What's happened to my camera? I've just buggered it, haven't I? Oops. Come on, buddy, don't bugger me now. I can't afford for this camera to be buggered. Moments before my interview. Don't know if I've mentioned yet. Have I mentioned that I've got an interview with Satine Phoenix later? It's pretty sweet. It's a pretty sweet deal that we've got going on there. I don't know if I've. There we go. Fixed it. What interview? Have I mentioned an interview? I don't know if I've mentioned an interview yet. What has some claws, some horns that we can use? Cows, do they have the horn attack? They've got a gore attack, which would be a similar sort of thing. I like that people see a creature with horns and think, nah, no horn attack. Well, I mean, there's animals with horns that don't attack with them. Alright, 60% of people say no, it should not have a horn attack, so it's not going to have a horn attack. Should it have a tail attack? That's the next thing now. Tail. Oops, not slash tail, slash pole. Tail. Why is this not typing? Tail attack? Question mark. It's going to be a 2-minute poll. Make sure to get your votes in. Should it have a tail attack? 2 minutes starting now. The tail could just be a bludgeoning thing. Boom! It whips you like a like a monitor lizard. It whips around, or a what's that other one called? A Komodo dragon. Could have like a whipping tail attack that does a bit of whipping damage. It could be that that it has like spikes on its tail, given that we've talked about spines. It could do spike damage. It could even be that it doesn't really do damage, but it grapples because it's got like a prehensile tail. We haven't decided on the tail's specifics yet. So should it have any of those sorts of tail attacks? You know, like the dino. Yeah, there's some dinosaurs that have tail attacks, don't they? Allosaurus doesn't. Which are the dinosaurs that have tail attacks? I know a T-Rex does in this stat block. Go take medicine. Yeah, I will. What time is it? Yeah, we're almost at the end of this. Almost at the end. It's the pain stage is not going to kick in for a little while. If that thing can grab onto you with its tail, its arms are going to kick the ever-loving crap out of you. 4 scratch attacks from its 4 arms. Triceratops. Does Triceratops have? No, it's got a gore and a stomp attack. T-Rex though, that has a tail attack. Look, slam with its tail. Oi, Rob, read my earlier message. Sure can do. Flutterby, if you're starting to develop a migraine, should you leave this so you can deal with it and be fresh for the interview? Oh, my interview. Yeah, I forgot I had an interview. Did everybody remember I had an interview? It's got a yes for that. Thank you, but I'm good. It's only the Aurora stage at this stage, so I'm fine. We've said with 64% of the vote, yes, it's going to have a tail attack. Which is going to be a melee weapon attack. Copy. Paste. Alright. Poll. What type of attack from the tail? What type of attack? Whipping, whip-like, brackets, slashing. So does it do slashing damage in that it's like a whip-like, whips across and hurts you? It's got a thin whip-like tail and hurts you that way. Spiky, brackets, piercing. So is it going to do piercing damage because it's got a spiky, spiny tail? Whacking, or bludgeoning, or crushing. Crushing brackets bludgeoning damage. So does it just hit you with the big thick tail? Bludgeoning. Grappling.
My passive perception is 24.
Time Lord's wife, thank you for the follow. Bludgeoning, whipping, rapping, grabbing. Does it do a grabbing attack? No damage, grapple. Is there anything else? So it can do slashing damage, piercing damage, bludgeoning damage, grapple instead of damage. Ranged. It could do a ranged attack with it, because it could be like it could be that it's either flicking spines from its tail like a manticore, or it's like flicking lightning from its tail. I'll just, there we go. All right, we'll go 3 minutes on this one because it's more to decide. 3 minutes to decide what kind of attack is it going to be. Prehensile tail that can grab weapons. Yeah. Prehensile weapons. That's why you should rest now before it gets to the later stage. I know, Flutterby, but we're really almost finished. I've had migraines plenty enough. I know when I need to grab it by in order for it to go away. At the moment, I'm just getting auras. Not even tunnel vision yet. It goes auras and then tunnel vision, and then after the tunnel vision gets to a certain stage, then the pain starts. As long as I've taken painkillers before a certain stage of the tunnel vision, then I'm fine. It's all right, everybody. It's fine. Thank you for your concern. Continually grasps you, shocks you as long as it's got grappled you with the tail. That could be a good one. Yeah, lightning discharge through the tail. Well, plus side and downside, Sparrow. You don't have to go to work, but you feel sick. It's so small, I can see it wanting to attack from a bit of a distance as opposed to getting close enough to get whacked. Yeah, maybe. And it flies by and uses its flyby scratch. Does some claw attacks and then continues flying past. Wondering how this tiny creature could bludgeon something. That is a good point. That is a very good point. Grapple tail lightning idea. Yeah, I kind of like that idea that it grapples hold, and then it's like a it's like when you cast Witch Bolt. You don't have to, whenever it's grappled you, it can automatically deal lightning damage at the start of every turn or something. Aftermath. I like poles. Not in this one. No joke answers. We want serious answers. What does everybody want from this creature? Bludgeoning attack. Curls up into a ball in midair, smacks you in the face with its whole body. Just rolls up and throws itself at your face. Ranged. Oh, okay, cool. With 54% of the vote, more than half of you want it to have some sort of ranged attack from its tail. Okay, cool. Ranged attack. So it's going to be a Ranger's Guild territory. Ranged weapon attack. +6 to hit because it's dexterity plus its proficiency. Range, it's going to be, what sort of range should it be? 20 to 60, something like that. It's only tiny, so 20 to 60 makes sense. 20/60, for those who don't know, means that 20. If a creature is within 20 feet, then it has just a straight roll. If it's between 20 and 60, it has disadvantage, and if it's more than 60, it can't hit it with this attack. Which makes sense when you're talking about like a rat-sized creature. It can't flick something more than 60 feet away. On a hit, it's dealing... What sort of damage is it dealing? Is it throwing spines, or is it throwing electricity? Poll. Let's just do a quick 2-minute poll. What is it, inverted commas, throwing? Spikes/spines for piercing damage, or lightning. I can't think of any other options, can you? I can't really think of any other options myself. Maybe I'll put an other option just in case there's something that comes up that I haven't thought about. Seeing Brit's mighty magic attack on Rowan in the NPC skit that just stung a bit. I'm not familiar with the one you're talking about, Swanetti. Which skit was that? It could be flicking irritating hairs like a tarantula, yeah. You could flick off a bunch of hairs that irritate the eyes so it can get away. If it's lightning based damage, it would probably fizzle out after 60 feet. Yeah, it's shooting off a bolt of lightning that the energy disperses too much by 60 feet out. Yeah, I suppose the other option could be both. It could be throwing a spike that is charged with electricity so that when it hits you, it does both spike and piercing and electricity damage. The one which takes forever to charge up her attack and it's only for 2 HP. Oh yeah, that's a real early one, isn't it? She stands there in front of Greg's shop doing all of this for ages. Not in 5th edition or grad. That's getting into confusing and complex mechanics of the game that 5th edition was all about getting rid of. Imagine this ball of lightning gathering up down its spine and then flicking it off the end. Yeah, like it starts at the horns and then each of the spines, the crackle of lightning hits between the spines as it goes down the tail, getting larger and larger, and then that sounds cool. Most people saying lightning, it's throwing a little ball of lightning. Cool, let's make it 1d8 plus 2 lightning damage. Cool, with 78% of the vote, we're going with lightning damage. It's got a little ball of lightning that it can fire from its tail. I love it. I can't... Does it scream Pikachu? Pikachu! Is there anything else that we have not given this thing that we should give this thing that I haven't thought of yet? It's got a whole bunch of features. It's got multi-attack. Oh, how many attacks can it do? Multi-attack. I reckon it should be able to do 4 claw attacks. Because it's got 4 hands, so it makes sense that each of them has claws. So it can use its charming present and then makes 4 claw attacks. It can scratch you up. So even though it's doing a d4 for each one, then it might hit you with all 4 of them, and you're doing 4d4 plus 8 slashing damage, which is quite a lot. Does it have a charisma effect attack that disarms or something? It's got all these spellcasting, remember? It's still got spellcasting. Most of those are going to be charisma based. As you can see, it's a charisma based spellcaster. So a charm person or that sort of thing, if you want to disarm somebody with your charisma, you can use a charm person spell. Stealth or invisibility to escape ambush, camouflage. I think, have we given it stealth? I feel like we should give it stealth. Should we give it stealth? I don't know, maybe. Multi-attack. We've given it multi-attack. It's Charming Present that makes 4 claw attacks. It can substitute one of these claw attacks for a tail attack. So it can make 3 claw attacks and 1 tail, but it can't make 4 tail attacks because it has to charge up the electricity each time. Attacks your Achilles for bonus. Hunt in pairs. Should we give it stealth? Alright, stealth. Should it be? We've already done its proficiencies, but we only gave it 3. Should we give it should we give it stealth proficiency as well? Yes or no? Currently it is proficient in persuasion, sleight of hand, and it is stealth. There we go. We've already got stealth. I didn't realise that it was one of the ones we've given it. So yes, it's already proficient in stealth. It's got +6 to its stealth modifier. So we're already done, guys. Very last thing to do is TBC. Get rid of the TBC and instead decide on a name. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 names. Perfect. We can do it in 2 polls. What is its primary language? Primordial. Primordial is the language of the elementals. Alright, we're going to do it in a series of 3 polls. We're going to do the first 5, the second 5, and then we're going to narrow it down with the contenders from the first 2 polls. So, name. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do it in a series of 3 polls, 4 polls rather. We're going to do bouts of 4 to give each name more of a contender. We'll go Crackle Puff. Crackle Puff. Epochnid. I'm going to copy paste this one in so that I get the. There we go. So I get the thing from it. Novus Tempest. And we'll make it a 3-minute poll. 3 minutes? We'll make it a 5. We'll make it 3-minute poll. 3-minute poll. Cracklepuff, Epochnid, Thaela, or Novus Tempest. 3 minutes to decide. Meanwhile, get your votes in for any other names that I haven't yet included on the list. We've voted on these 4. Styrmyr. Styrmyr is pretty cool. Cracklepuff. I have a feeling Cracklepuff is going to win. A Thunderbolt Capybara. Heartling. Heartling, I mean, I can add it to the list. I don't think it's going to win, but we can add it. Nimbuset. Nimbuset's pretty cool. I like Nimbuset. I like Cracklepuff. I like Styrmyr. I like Epochnid as well. Epochnid's a good one. Novus Tempest. A Novus Tempest I like, but it sounds more like a scientific name to me. Get your votes in, everybody. It's a very close one. There are 100 people watching and only like 30 people have voted so far. You've got 2 minutes. Make sure to vote. This is getting close. We've got 13, 10, 8 and 5 votes. So every vote is going to count. It's going to be important. It might come down to a single vote. If it comes down to like a single vote or 2, then I might have to do like a preferential voting system instead. I might do preferential voting. Any other names? Any other last minute submissions? Oh, Cracklepuff's down to 14. Thaela's also at 14. We're now half and half with Cracklepuff and Thaela. Thaela. Preferential, where we can use channel points to boost our votes. No, preferential voting meaning the one with the fewest votes gets eliminated, and then we vote again, and we do that until we've got one that's over 50%. What about Derek? Got here just in time, JC winner. Stormlisk. I kind of like Stormlisk actually. Good last minute submission there, Adza. Stormlisk. Kind of like a basilisk, Stormlisk. You expect something huge and intimidating, and this little friend pops up. Where's Thela from? It was Imeldir? Emeldir. What's Emeldir? What's the origin of Emeldir there? Silmaril. It's neck and neck, everybody. 14-14. We're almost out of time. You've got to get your votes in. Alright, so Cracklepuff had 15, Thela 14, and Novus Tempest 12. So we're going to do preferential voting because this is way too close to just take the 33% one. So we're going to remove Epocnid. Sorry, Spidey. Epocnid didn't come about. We're gonna move into round 2. I changed my mind halfway through the voting, but I'm allowed to because it's my world and I'm the boss. I'm the dictator mayor. Name ? All right, we've got Thela again. Oh crap! We've got Stormlisk. Oops. We've got Thela. We've got Cracklepuff. We've got Novus Tempest. Removing Epocnid from the idea, we're going to add in Stormskirra. And we're going to add in Blixt. I'm going to make it, because I'm doing preferential, I'm going to lower it to a 2-minute vote each time so that we can get through more of them. Stormskirra and Blixt have now been added in as well. 2 minutes to vote. We're going to stop when we get to either when we've got through all of them or when we've got to a 50% vote, because at that point we've got a majority. We've got a team that is more in favour of it than opposed. Yeah, Spidey did say that he hated democracy. I'm hungry. What should I have for lunch? Sandwich, maybe. Ooh, Thela's coming out on top now. Cracklepuff's falling behind. Democracy's overrated. Have you ever spoken with an average voter? Who is it that says... think of how stupid the average person is. Think of how stupid the average person is, and then think that half the people in the world are stupider than that. What's the reasoning behind Thela again? Who suggested Thela? Was it George Carlin? Thank you, Avarian. I thought it might have been. Thela is a Greek word about the storm. It comes from Greek, does it? Alright, Thela won. We're going to get rid of Stormskirra. Blitzed and Novus Tempest have also fallen by the wayside now. We've got Thela and Cracklepuff left in the game. Let's add in the others. Whole name. Thela, Cracklepuff. We're going to add in Styrmyr. I'm going to add in Balm. I'm going to add in Tarhuna. Preferential voting starting 2 minutes. 2 minutes on the clock. Styrmyr, Balm and Tarhuna. If you could change things by voting, they wouldn't let us do it. Mythical's the one who suggested Thaela. Well, there you go, Mythical. It might be yours by the looks of it. There are more names to be added still. We've got all of these ones here. Nimbuset, Heartling and Stormlisk. If I could have added, if the poll on Twitch allowed for me to add all of the names at once and then do preferential by getting rid of all of the least, then I would have. But I can only add 5 at a time, so I'm just getting rid of like the bottom 2 or 3. Anything that's like clearly not going to win, I'm getting rid of them and adding in the new ones, and then each time just get rid of the other ones. If people have voted for those crappy ones, not crappy ones, but the ones that didn't win, then they can re-vote again. And it also allows for people to change their mind and go, actually I liked Thaela, but no, I think Cracklepuff, or no, I actually prefer Styrmyr. Currently no voters for Tahuna or Balam. Oh, Balam's got 3 voters, but not enough to maintain its position on the board. Looks like Styrmyr as being a new contender though, almost as popular as Cracklepuff. Nimbuset is very close to a curse word in Portuguese. How bad of a curse word, Renato? Can you tell me can you write the curse word out? Does it sound like it or just read like it? Or both? Alright, we've got Thaela, Cracklepuff and Styrmyr all joining the party. We're losing Balam and Tahuna. I'm going to get rid of Heartling because I'm vetoing it. I've got veto powers. I don't like it. So this is going to be the last poll. So name Thaela, Cracklepuff, Styrmyr, Nimbuset. Or a Nimbuset. A Nimbuset might be. Or a Stormlisk. 2 minutes. This is not the last vote because we're going to use these are the last names that we're going to use. But when it comes down to it, we're gonna get rid of each one until we've got one winner. So make sure you're voting. This creature that we've created is going to be named one of these things. Cracklepuff is a name to underestimate. Yeah, you think, oh, Cracklepuff, that's going to be a little cutie, and then it shoots lightning at you and fries you on the inside. Charms you, turns you against your friends, whatever. Nutella and Paella are already taken. I don't know if I can write the curse in here, says Renato. I'm not sure if it will. My auto moderator will catch it or not if it's Portuguese. You can always write it and it would tell us if it's caught it or not. You wouldn't get a warning, I don't think. Cracklepuff is cute, but it reminds me too much of J.K. Rowling and the transphobic garbage that she said. Fair enough. Cracklepuff reminds me of Rice Bubbles, yeah, snap, crackle and pop. It doesn't know Glaswegian swears, so it probably doesn't know Portuguese swears now. Have we picked the artwork for it yet? I'm not picking artwork, I'm just deciding, well, not yet anyway. I'm just allowing for everybody to create their own artwork for it. Have a bit of your own personal decisions on which artwork you like. You can make your own headcanon. Put a space between each letter. My tunnel vision hasn't started and the auroras have gone, so it might have been a false start. I don't think it was a migraine. Ooh, look at this! 13-13. Thaela, Cracklepuff, and Styrmyr bringing up the rear. We're going to lose Nimbuset, unfortunately. Only 3 people voted Nimbuset, and we're going to lose Stormlisk because there's only 5 voted for that as well. So it's down to Thaela, Cracklepuff, and Styrmyr. I'm going to keep Styrmyr in because if everybody who voted for Stormlisk and Nimbuset all voted for Styrmyr, it could still win. So Thaela, Cracklepuff and Styrmyr. Maybe having a silent migraine. Is that a thing? Name! We're down to the last 3, everybody. We've got Thaela. Sounds like paella. Cracklepuff. And Styrmyr. Styrmyr. 2 minutes to decide, starting now. It's a thing, they hurt real bad. Huh. I'll make sure to take some paracetamol all the same then. Cracklepuff is just too similar to 5-year-old Pokemon crap. Says very little intelligence. Cracklepuff sounds like Jigglypuff and Hufflepuff. Yeah, Cracklepuff sounds like Jigglypuff and Hufflepuff. Thaela sounds like paella. Styrmyr sounds like I don't know, something Norse. Sounds like this because it's Thiela, not Thaela. Thiela. Is it Thiela? How would you pronounce it in Greek? Is it Thiela? With the accent over the Y that I lost halfway through. Thiela? Thiela. Ooh, Styrmyr has taken the hit now. Everybody who got eliminated is now revoting with Styrmyr, it seems. We've got a new contender. At this rate, Cracklepuff's gonna be out. We're halfway through. We've got 1 minute to decide, everybody. 1 minute left to decide. If you want Cracklepuff to not go the way of the dodo, you need to vote, because Cracklepuff is about to get eliminated. In about 40 seconds or so, Cracklepuff is out of here. So if you want Cracklepuff, you need to vote. Hashtag Team Cracklepuff. Cracklepuff's going the way of the dodo in about 20 seconds. We've got 17, 19 and 13 on the votes. Cracklepuff will be removed. Cracklepuff will be eliminated unless you vote right now. We are seconds away from losing Cracklepuff forever. And it's gone. Sorry to the 14 people who wanted Cracklepuff, but Cracklepuff is out of there. We are down to Styrmyr and Thaela. Final vote. We still didn't have a 50% majority, so it's going to be a final vote. Now we cannot we cannot possibly have a not final majority. Thaela and Styrmyr. A Thaela or a Styrmyr? Which one is it going to be? You've got 2 minutes to decide on the final vote of the name, Thaela or Styrmyr. Cracklepuff is gone. You made it through to the penultimate round, Cracklepuff, but I'm afraid not. Norse versus Greek, that's right. Is it going to be a Norse name, Styrmyr, or is it going to be a Greek name, Thaela? We're not going to mash them. Themir, Styrella. Goodbye, Cracklepuff. I hardly knew ye. What's up, Dead Aussie Gamer? How's it going? You feeling good about this this interview later today? I don't know if I've mentioned yet. Have I mentioned that I'm interviewing Satine Phoenix later today? I should have mentioned it sooner. Sorry, I haven't given you much time to prepare. We need a vote emote. Oh, that's a good point, actually. That is a good point. I think I'll add that to the list of emotes that I might need. You thought Dread and Dag were interviewing Satine? They are. They are also. New emote ideas. Vote. I like the vote emote idea. We'll add that at some point. A Thaela Styrmyr. I suppose we could make it a Thaela Styrmyr. Alright, you got a few seconds left. It's Styrmyr in the lead with 27 votes to 18. If you want Thaela to win this situation, to win the name, you have to vote on Thaela. Otherwise, it is going to be Styrmyr. Thaela sounds appropriately precious and fitting. Styrmyr sounds something big and badass and is therefore kind of trolley and also fitting. Doing awesome, so excited and hyped for the interview. Me too. Me too. We've got 28 to 21. Last seconds to count. And Styrmyr it is with 57% of the vote. Styrmyr takes the win. Congratulations to all those who wanted Styrmyr. Commiserations to those who wanted Fiala. Styrmyr. It is a Styrmyr, a tiny elemental. Now I just go through and all of the TBCs become Styrmyrs. Don't know why I don't just copy and paste it like a normal person. Styrmyr. Copy. Styrmyr, nickname Cracklepuff. Of course, in your own world, if you use these in your campaigns, you can decide. You can decide on what you call them. Maybe in your world they are called Styrmyrs. Maybe we did say that they live in urban environments, underground environments, and forest environments, and mountainous environments. Maybe the subspecies that lives in the forest or the Underdark or something is called the Thiela. The Thiela Styrmyr. Styrmyr's next choice. There it is. Boom. And then finally, I guess the dexterity saving throw must make a dex save. I think just an 18, just arbitrarily, but it's maybe a 16. No, 18. Whoa, not that many. A DC 18 Constitution saving throw. Let's make a DC 18 Constitution saving throw. Strength saving throw. Yeah, up here we said that they're forest, mountains, underdark, and urban environments. Mostly urban, though. All right, I really have to go and prepare for my interview. So thank you very much for joining me. I will finish this off in my own time. Like finish the. I'll reconsider what the writing of it should be. I'll start to come up with some like lore to fill out all of this bump stuff up the top, and I'll also decide on the spellcasting, like which spells it should have and things. Then and then once it's made, we've got it. We've done. I'll release it for you guys to see one final time once it's finished. But for now, thank you for joining me.